Good evening, Charvi and Shreyansh.
Good evening, ma'am.
How are you, Shreyansh, after I think so long?
I'm fine, ma'am.
Okay.
Actually, I had viral fever, ma'am.
Oh, okay, okay. I think the season is also going like that only,
Yes,
where everyone is getting cold and cough, all those stuff.
yes, ma'am.
Charvi, what about you? How are you?
Good, mom. How are you, mom?
I am also good, Charvi. Thank you. But I think still none of them have joined. I think many of them they have the exams going on right now. That is also the one of the concern. Mm. Okay, so last time before the revision, we have actually stopped on the topic pancreas. So we have covered the pancreas will have the three enzyme pancreatic amylase, then lipase and the trypsin. So three enzymes will be there, and these three enzymes, what do they do? They will be converting the fats, then fats, proteins, and the starch. They will be converting them into the glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, and cholesterol. The next part, what we are going to start with is the small intestine and the large intestine. So, see, though the word says small intestine and the word says large intestine, that large means the larger one and the small means smaller ones. But actually, what do they talk about is the width,
Um,
width of that intestine. So, small intestine width and the large intestine width actually. So, I'm sharing the screen so that we can discuss the differences between them.
Ma'am, the small intestine is longer than the large intestine, right, ma'am?
Yes, exactly. Hmm. So,
ma'am,
basically,
your,
small intestine
ma'am, your
screen
screen
is
share stopped.
it has stopped. Let me share it again then. Now is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So these are the certain difference between the small intestine and large intestine. The length, when we talk about the word does not mean that it is small. It is larger than, it is longer than, not larger actually, longer than the large intestine. So here, the small and the large means they're talking about the width of it, not the length of it. Okay. So small intestine, that is the length is almost like 6 meter, whereas large intestine, that it is about 1.5 meter. Diameter, this is narrow, this is wider. The parts which are there in the small intestine are the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. These are the three parts. Then in the large intestine, they are the four parts: cecum, colon, and rectum. And connected to the rectum is the anal canal. So both have the three parts: duodenum, jejunum, ileum, cecum, colon, and rectum. And connected to the rectum will be the anal canal. The primary function of the digestion, primary function of the small intestine, when we talk about, it's about digestion and absorption of the nutrient. So what happened in the small intestine? There will be the villi. So what those villis will be doing? They will be helping in the absorption of the nutrient. And at the same time, the small intestine is a place where the complete digestion also happens. That is why the small intestine function is the digestion and absorption of the nutrient. Whereas in the large intestine also the villis are there. But what do they do here? Here they will be actually helping in the absorption of the water. So the villi which are present in the small intestine, they will be absorbing the food, and the villi which are present in the large intestine, they will be absorbing the water. That is how one place the food will be absorbed and the nutrient will be absorbed, and the other place the water will be absorbed. So absorption of the water and electrolyte. Electrolyte means the salts. And the formation of the feces will be done by the large intestine. Then enzymatic activity, it is high here. They will be producing the enzyme called as a maltase, sucrase, etc. Whereas in the large intestine, the enzyme activities are low. And here, they do not require any kind of a digestion. Now, do you know why they do not require any enzyme here in the large intestine? Why is it so? Why they do not require any kind of the enzyme in the large intestine? Yes, Joshika, Charvi, and Shriyansh, why in the large intestine enzymes are not required?
Ma'am, because it only transports the food to other organs, right, ma'am?
Oh, okay. Not exactly correct, but yes, a little correct of your answer. I'll just rectify it. What happens? See, as I told you, the complete digestion will happen where? In the small intestine. Now, when already the complete digestion has happened, so is it needed that in the large intestine the further digestion is required? No. So, since already the complete digestion has happened in the small intestine, they do not require the enzyme. Okay. So, no digestive enzymes are needed because already complete digestion is already done in the small intestine. Then willies, they are present here, which help in the increasing the surface area. Whereas the large intestine, they are actually present where they help in the absorption of the water. Then movement, they have the peristalsis movement, and also in the villi, they have the segmentation. Also, the small intestine has segmentation. Segmentation means kind of division which are present here. Then in the large intestine, there is slow peristalsis. Peristalsis happen, but at a very slow rate. And also the mass movement will be there. Mass movement means the movement of the waste material. Then mucus production, it is less, where it is more here in the large intestine, because now why the mucus? Mucus is what? It's a kind of sticky substance. So in the small intestine, the sticky substance is produced in less amount, whereas in the large intestine, it is produced in more amount because they have to move. They have to push the undigested food to the next part of it. That is why they have the more mucus in the large intestine. Then in the small intestine, few bacteria are there, whereas in the large intestine, they have the rich bacterial flora because they want them to help in the fermentation process. So when fermentation process happens, automatically the undigested food will be moved forward. That is why they have the bacteria number in high amount. pH level, it is slightly alkaline in the small intestine, which is around 7.4 to 7.8. Whereas in the large intestine, it is slightly acidic to the neutral, where it is around 6.5 to 7. So these are some of the differences which are there in the large intestine and the small intestine. Am I clear with this? Shreyansh, Snehal,
Yes,
Charvi,
ma'am.
Nishika.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll repeat this because I think Snehal has joined, Nishika has joined late. So
Yes.
length is about 6 meter. In the large intestine, it is 1.5 meter. Diameter in the small intestine narrow, large intestine it is wider. Three parts for the small intestine is there, duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. For the large intestine, also three parts are there, cecum, colon, and rectum. The main function of the small intestine is for the digestion and absorption, whereas the main function of the large intestine is for the absorption of the water. Then in the small intestine, there are the enzymes which are being produced, whereas in the large intestine, enzymes are not produced because they do not require it. Then villis are present in both, whereas in the small intestine, the villis help in the absorption of the food, whereas in the in the large intestine, they help in the absorption of the water. Then in the small intestine, the peristalsis and segmentation will be there, whereas in large intestine, the peristalsis movement will be in the less uh, amount. Then in the small intestine, the mucus is less because they do not require any kind of the movement, whereas in the large intestine, the mucus will be more because they have to push the undigested food out of the body. Then in the small intestine, bacteria will be less, whereas in the large intestine, it is more. Then pH level, it is slightly alkaline in the small intestine, whereas in the large intestine, it is slightly acidic to the neutral in nature. So these are some of the differences. Now, one by one, we'll be discussing the parts of the small intestine. Hmm. 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 Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you can see here three names are given: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. See, the sequence is important in them. The same sequence you should know. You should learn. Now, this is the stomach, right? Which I am labeling, which I am marking it with the blue color, that is the stomach. Now, connecting to the stomach is the small intestine. You can see small intestine is connected. Now, this part, the first part, it is what? Duodenum. Then in the center, which part is there? It is the jejunum. And the last part, which is there, is the ileum. So that is how the three parts are there in the sequence: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. First one, which is the duodenum, that is almost 25 centimeter long, whereas it is the first part of the small intestine. It is connected to the stomach. You can see in the picture also, it is connected directly to the stomach. It plays a role in the digestion by receiving the bile and pancreatic enzyme. Very, very important. This duodenum is the first part and it is connected to the stomach. At the same time, whatever the pancreas they have done through with the help of the enzyme, they will receive it so that the further process they can work on it for the complete digestion of the food. Clear, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Snehal, Chavi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Just a minute. Hmm. The next part is the duodenum. The center part here. This center part, which is there in the pink color, which is the duodenum. This is the middle part of the small intestine. In this part, the absorption of the nutrients happen. So duodenum, what they were doing, they were helping the bile juice to receive it, and also whatever the pancreatic enzyme they have worked, they were getting it. Now in the second part, they will be converting them so that they can absorb the nutrients. And then they also contain the dense network of the blood vessels. Can any one of you tell me what are the blood vessels they're talking about here? What are blood vessels? Do you know what are blood vessels?
They have the blood will be carried out by blood vessels.
Very good, right. So blood vessels, basically, they are the tube-like structures which help in transportation of the blood. So in our body, we have the oxygenated blood, the blood which is rich in oxygen, and also we have the blood which is deoxygenated, which means it is rich in the carbon dioxide gas. So here in this duodenum, we will have so much of the blood vessels present there. Okay. And also here, the villi are also acting as a kind of the blood vessels where they will help in the absorption of the food or the nutrients. Then it goes to the third part, which is the final part of the small intestine. It connects it to the large intestine. So you can see at the end where they are getting connected themselves, they are getting connected themselves to the to the large intestine. And here they will be absorbing the vitamin B12, bile salt, and the other nutrients. So other nutrients also will be absorbed at this place. So duodenum will be actually helping in the digestion, which is received by the bile and pancreatic enzyme. The jejunum will be helping in the nutrient absorption, and also they contain the blood vessels. Then ileum is the last part which will be connecting to the large intestine, and they absorb the vitamin B12, bile salt, and the other nutrients. Apart from that, there is a mucus. So mucus is important, right? In the small intestine, the large intestine. In the small intestine, it is less. So it is there so that the movement of the absorption of food becomes easy. Then the large intestine is basically, next page we have it. Hmm. Hmm. It is not getting open, just a minute. Hmm. So can you see the large intestine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is actually given about the higher classes. In the higher classes, you will be learning all these parts. But basically, the major one, if I tell you, they are the colon, ascending, descending, and the transfer. Three types are there. These three are given together in the books. In the 7th grade or 8th grade books, it is given together as a name, colon. This is the first part. The second part is the cecum, which is given here. So cecum is the second part, and third part is the rectum, which is given here. So that is how the three major parts are given according to the grade 7 or grade 8 also. So colon, the first part, which has also the division, the ascending colon, the descending colon, and the transverse colon. Three types of the colon are there. Then in the cecum, there is a second part, and the last part is the rectum, which is connected to the part which is called as the anal canal. You can see here, this part is called the anal canal. The first one, which is the transverse colon, they are the horizontal section of the large intestine. So this part which you see, this is called as a transverse colon. Transverse means horizontal. So horizontal section of the large intestine that absorb water and salt. So at this place, the water and the salt will be absorbed from the residue. Then the second part and third part, this part here and this part here, these are called as hepatic flexure and the splenic flexure, which means bending. There will be a bending between the two. At the end of the transverse colon, two bends will be there. One is called as hepatic flexure and the second one is called as splenic flexure. So hepatic flexure is the bend between the ascending and the transverse colon. So you can see at this, I'll just mark it with the red. So this bend, where it is present between the transverse colon and the ascending colon. So between the transverse colon and the ascending colon, the bend which is present, that is called as a hepatic flexure. Same way for the splenic flexure, it is a bend between the transfer and which colon? The descending colon. So here this bend is present between transfer and the descending colon. Then small intestine, we know the center part where it is the long coiled tube where the most of the direction and the nutrition absorption of the nutrient will take place. Now the next one is rectum.
Ma'am?
Okay. Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am,
Tell me.
I did not understand the ascending colon.
Ascending colon, I did not start it. I have to start it.
Okay. ma'am.
Okay. So just this down part, which is going down, this part here, it is called as ascending. Okay. And the other side of it, which is going down, that is called as descending. Three parts are there for the colon: ascending, descending, and transverse. Transverse is the upper part which is present in the horizontal direction. So two directions we have, right? Horizontal means the straight that direction. Vertical means like this, from top to down. So ascending and descending, they are from top to down. Whereas if I talk about the horizontal, if I talk about the transverse, that is from left to the right. Okay. So in the descending colon, it is a vertical kind of the section where it carries the waste material upward from the cecum and then they will be absorbing the water and nutrient. So like this, here the small intestine will be there, for example, okay? From here, they will be taking the waste material from the ascending colon to the, which part? To the transverse colon. And then transverse colon will bring it down. That is why it is called as descending colon. Going up is ascending. Coming down, that is the descending. Am I clear, Rishika? Snehal, Chavi, Shreyansh,
Yes,
Rishika?
ma'am.
Okay, ascending means from
Yes,
down
ma'am.
to top, the waste material will be going. Transverse means in the horizontal way, the movement will be happening. And then from the bend, which is the splenic flexure bend, it goes down. That down movement of the waste material is called as a descending colon. So the descending colon is vertical section that moves the waste downward and store the digested food. Where they will be storing the digested food? Undigested food in the rectum. Okay. Then a cecum is also the part which is a pouch-like structure at the beginning of the large intestine that connects to the small intestine. So this pouch part which is present here, that is called as cecum, which connects the large intestine with the small intestine. That is a cecum. And coming to the appendix part, it's a finger-like projection from the cecum with a minor role which helps in the immune function. Just let me change this diagram. It is not so, I have made it very dirty. See, this is the appendix. This part is the appendix. You might have heard, many people will be getting the pain of this appendix. It is because this cecum what they do, they start dividing their cells. And when they start dividing the cells, the length of this appendix will start growing. And when the length of this appendix starts growing, automatically they touch the other part of the intestine. And because of which the severe pain will be there in the person's body. So that is what the appendix. It's a small finger-like projection from the cecum. So this is cecum. From the cecum, a kind of finger-like projection comes out, which with a minor role in the immune function. So though they play a very, very, very small role in the immune function, but if the size of this appendix increases, it creates problem in the person's body. It starts paining for them. And then it goes to the rectum where it will be stored, the temporarily it will be stored there before it goes out of the body. And anal canal is a final part where when we are not able to control it, we will be releasing the stool through the anus part of it. So at the end the anus will be there after this part. So that is how the complete large intestine, the parts and the structure it is there. So transverse colon, it is from left to right, ascending from down to up, ascending colon, which brings the waste from the cecum to the ascending colon. Then it goes to transverse colon. Transverse colon will give the waste to the descending colon, in which it goes from top to down. And this descending colon will give it to the rectum where it will be stored, and rectum will give it to the anal canal, and anal canal will release it out through the anus. The bend, the down bend which is present between the transverse colon and ascending colon, that is called as hepatic flexure. And the bend which is present between the transverse colon and the descending colon, that is called as the splenic flexure. Clear?
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Ma'am, is the appendix really important in our body?
Is appendix?
Important in our body, ma'am. I heard it is not very important, ma'am. It feels
No, it is not important. It is not important at all. It's actually called as the visceral organ. VISCERL. Visceral organ means these organs are not important. Like for example, wait, let me stop sharing the screen and then I'll show you. You might have seen in the eyes also what happened. We have a small part here. Uh, Stop sharing. Huh. So in the eyes, you all might have, seen, might have felt in yourself also that here at this corner, we have small muscle-like structure, small structure is present,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes,
That is also not required. But why do we have it? It is because of the chimpanzees, gorillas and all. In them, those parts were helping them to clean the eye, to keep the eye clean. But if in our body, if we remove this part, hardly it matters. Same way, this appendix also, it is a kind of the extra organ, which is actually, not required for the body, but through them, we have got it. But in some of the people, this part sometimes they start increasing in the length and all. Because of that, it creates problem. And surgically, then it has to be removed. Otherwise, if it increase more, then they require the space, and because of the space requirement, they trouble a lot to the person body. Clear?
yes.
So that is about the small intestine, the large intestine. I think, see, in the book, nothing is there, right? But these terms, do you feel that they are very tough to understand?
No, no.
Ascending colon, descending colon, the
No.
flicks, what are different types, the bending of them, nothing is difficult, right? This is the grade 12 actually. In the grade 12, this you will be learning these parts about the ascending, descending, about, the bends and all, about the detailed structure of it. But it is not so difficult that you can't understand it. Okay, so I'll share a screen, start writing them now. Start with the differences between the small intestine and the large intestine. Okay. Mm-mm. Okay, I'll share the screen. Start writing with the differences between the small intestine and the large intestine. Just a minute, let me share it again. You can write these differences. Rishika, have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So also I'm sharing it in the group so that if the class gets over, you can at least write them. So all the three I have shared it in the group as well.
Ma'am, the exact length of small intestine would be 7.5 meters, right, ma'am? I mean
Yes.
centimeters, right, ma'am?
Yes. Now with this, we are just remaining with two small topics, which is about the nutrition in amoeba and nutrition in ruminants, which is basically the cows and all. That we will be completing in the next class, and by that, our chapter will be done. And after this, I will be starting with the chapter reproduction. Done, children, with this page?
No, ma'am.
Just a minute.
Okay, okay.
And villi are not present in the large intestine.
They are present in the large intestine and they help in the absorption of the water.
Oh,
But generally, what happened in your book also, in the NCRT book, they have not mentioned for the grade 7. But when it comes to the grade 10, they have mentioned this that the large intestine also have the villi, which help in the absorption of the water.
okay.
So that is how some of the books are creating confusion whether it is there, whether it is not there. When you are small, you are learning it is not there. But when you are grown up in the grade 10, you are learning that it is there.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. So children, the remaining one, the parts of the small intestine, parts of large intestine, just complete it today and send me all the three works together by the end of the day.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So I have already shared in the group. So from the group now you can complete whatever the remaining it is there. And make sure that children, whatever we are doing it, just revise it once. Because it is not only for the grade 7, but it is also for your grade higher grades also.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. And any doubts you have, you can just drop me a message that, ma'am, I did not understand this thing. I will be explaining you again.
Okay.
Okay, Chabi, Nishika, Snehal, Joshika, and Shreyansh?
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, children. Okay, thank
Bye, ma'am.
you.
Thank you,
Bye,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Have a nice
Thank
day.
you,
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.